Those that practice the time to break beyond their busy lives will discover themselves gazing at the blissful and tranquil scenery that proffers the world. The Bay Beach Wildlife Sanctuary in Green Bay has been that refuge I've needed to escape into this realm of nature and life. Here they offer hundreds of acres of maintained forests, trails, and various wildlife viewing opportunities. From the mountainous mountain lion to the ghostly snow owl, to the chattering otters, and of course, so much more in between. On this particular evening, the sanctuary had given the public the opportunity to get up close with their feathered friends. This was an occasion that I could not let pass by. Not only was I able to observe and learn about many avian species up close and uncaged, but the numerous volunteers and staff that the sanctuary provided were incredibly accommodating and friendly to all those involved, to which I'd like to offer and say a big thank you. The footage that follows captures the various raptors, owls, and birds that I was happily able to view that day. To this end, remember to support your local wildlife refugee center and enjoy the video.
This is Amber, and Amber is a screech owl. She has been with the Wildlife Sanctuary since 2013. She's one of our animal ambassadors. She came in with a wing injury, and it's a permanent injury, so she lives with us and she helps educate the public, and she is also a foster owl, so when we have babies that need to be raised, she helps us raise them.
That was just a couple hours in. Oh, nice. But at that point,
this is Emerson. He's a broad-winged hawk. He's been here since April 25th of 2020. They found him down in Rockland, Wisconsin, down near the Madison area.
Okay.
He has this fractured wing. I believe it's actually a shoulder fracture. And so he's turned into an ambassador bird, so he does get to go out on field trips there and taught. So this type of bird, it's a migratory hawk. Southern Canada, this area, and then they ride the thermals down to Central America and Northern South America. And then they spend winter there and then come back. They're known for their soaring. They also get in big groups, hundreds, sometimes thousands at a time, and they soar, ride the thermals on their migratory route. They don't per se fly there, they ride the thermals.
Very pretty bird.
Oh yes, yes. Oop. There. Show your good side. There you are.
This is a male. He's a Merlin falcon, and his name's Merle. Merle. Merle came here in 2012. They found Merle in Swamico, Wisconsin.
She's very...
Without a wing, yeah, so they had to amputate the rest of the wing off. So she's an ambassador bird here. And to Merle.
this is Winter.
Winter.
So Winter came to us in 2018 is when we adopted her. She was actually hit by a car in 2017. Had to have her left wing amputated from her injuries. So she was at another rehab facility for about a year, and they tried to work with her to train her for a program animal. And didn't have much luck with her. Could have been their training method or the people working with her. Most of these animals definitely get their own personalities, and there's some people that they really enjoy and some people maybe not so much. So in 2018, almost 3 years to the date, we decided to take her in and been working with her ever since. And as you can see, she's definitely turned into a pretty cool animal ambassador. And very rare species to have as an animal ambassador. I've heard that snowies are notoriously hard to train and to get on the glove like she is. So very, very lucky to have her.
shot of vodka.
Yeah, right.
Still
Definitely.
doesn't help.
Yeah, we figure she's probably around 5 or 6 years old based on her weight and her height and her general appearance. When she was hit by the car, she was fully grown, but was probably on the young side.
No, I think they're
So in the wild, a bird like her might live anywhere between 10 to 15 years, give or take, but certainly in captivity much longer than that.
She's beautiful. With snowy owls, those eyes.
Yeah, and owls like her, you know, so most people know that owls have great hearing and great eyesight, but some species tend to use one a little bit more than the other. So a bird like her or a great horned owl, they're going to use their sense of sight more than their hearing, and you can always kind of tell based on the size of their facial discs. So like a great gray owl or a barred owl, barn owl, they have kind of smaller eyes, but those really big, flat, round facial discs. Those help kind of channel sound across their face into their ears. So with her, having those big eyes and kind of really small, not very defined facial discs, she'll use her sense of sight a little bit better than her hearing, and vice versa.
When you're hiking, sometimes we would take
Another cool thing about owls is that their ears are asymmetrical, so their ears don't go straight across their heads like on us. One of them's actually higher than the other. So when they hear a sound by turning their head back and forth, they hear that sound kind of different, and it just helps them pinpoint where that sound's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely have a lot of cool things that they've adapted over the years.
not a heavy population.
You know, of course, most people know that owls can turn their heads about 270 degrees, and the reason they do that is because their eyes are fixed in their skulls. They don't have the independent muscles like we do, where they can move their eyeballs around to actually turn their head to see what they want to see, and that's why they rotate their heads the way they do. And another animal that shares that animal family are all felines, so lions, tigers, all the way down to your house cats. Their eyes are fixed in their skulls as well. Right. Yeah, right, big girl.
Wow.
I think for like the live, we should have like smeared some dirt on her.
So this is an American pistol. I love their plumage.
Right. Yeah.
Put her in a cage.
Really tug on those heartstrings. Well, let's go see Liberty. I haven't seen her out in a while.
Athena the great horned owl. And she has a wing injury, so she's non-releasable. And she came in as an adult, so we don't know her age.
Very wise, old-looking owl.
Yes, very wise, old-looking owl. Who looks a mess right now. Because she's all ruffled up.
Eyes similar to the snowy owl.
Very. Their eyes take up so much room in their head that they don't have a sense of smell.
And that makes it easier to hunt skunks and stuff.
Correct. Her little tufts that everybody likes to call ear tufts are not ear tufts. They have crooked ears compared to us.
This is Shakespeare the barred owl. He came to us in 2004 after being hit by a vehicle. So in his right eye he is blind. So without that sight he's unable to survive in the wild. You can tell he's pretty chilly since he's so puffed up.
And this guy is the Who Cooks For You
Yeah.
owl. You gotta admire those black eyes that these barred owls have.
Yeah, it makes them really stand out. And usually, you know, they swivel their heads more, but since he is partially blind, he goes towards the light, so obviously there isn't much light now, so he does kind of look around and just stare. But since everything else is functional, he can eat what we give him. He is a little flighted, so he does good in captivity. And he's well-tempered for programs like this.
It's Theodora, our long-eared owl. And she's here because of her wing injury. on her right elbow. And you can see that it's calcified. She's only been here since September, so.
She's one of the owls here that has really vibrant plumage compared to like the great horned owl and barred.
I know. Her color is so pretty. Especially, I mean, if she was like in a tree, you wouldn't even be able to see her.
Yeah. I always think of them as like the miniaturized version of the great horned owl in some regards.
That's what I always thought too. It's like their older sister or siblings, whatever.
Believe it or not, I've never seen a long-eared owl in the wild, but I have heard them a lot at the UWGB campuses.
Oh, okay.
In the dorms.
Yeah, that's kind of what they say, is that you can't ever really see them because they blend so well.
Mm-hmm.
But you can hear them. With the male, you can hear sometimes up to a kilometer away. So what, 0.7 of a mile?
The main call I hear these guys doing is the fledgling begging call, where they just screech into the air.
Sometimes she does it when she's in her cage and stuff. She'll make the noise and you're just kind of like, what is going on? Especially her, she's so calm.
Hermes. Yeah, Hermes, our peregrine falcon.
The fastest bird in the world.
Yes. Yeah, good old bird eaters. Gotta be fast to catch them. Maybe to move that.
When I first got into photographing birds, I'd always misidentify them from a distance as a red-tailed hawk because their underbelly plumage looks almost identical.
Okay.
But this is definitely the first time I've seen one up close.
Yeah.
So this is Raven, the Raven. And why is she an ambassador here?
Raven has a right wing injury, which he's not be released because he cannot fly. He's been with us for 12 years.
Very pretty bird.
Yeah, they're very, very intelligent. He does say hello. And if he had his way, he'd be getting out of these dresses. He picks at them all the time.
Now, is there a clear indication on how to tell a difference between a raven and a crow?
Yes, the raven has a much bigger beak. His head is much bigger, and a lot of times, like right now, his feathers, he sticks them up on, kind of fans them out and makes his head look even bigger.
So this is Xander, our red-tailed hawk, and he is a boy. He is 10 years old, and he's been with us for about 8 years. So we're not exactly sure what happened to him. Most likely it was a car accident. That's what happens to a lot of birds of prey. They'll go down to the road to get roadkill or prey that's just running across the road, and they don't see the cars in time, and they tend to get hit by them. And so that's why a lot of our birds of prey are with us. Unfortunately for them, they have very hollow bones, which is good because then they can fly. But when the bones break, they tend to just shatter instead of cracking into two pieces.
Yeah.
So when that happens, it's just really hard for them to heal their bones. And a lot of times, they just have those permanent wing injuries then.
And red-tailed hawks are the main type of bird of prey I always see around Green Bay when I'm driving on the highways. So
yeah, they are super common. There was one hanging out in the tree over there just a little bit ago. So especially around this time of year, they are, I would say, the most common bird of prey that we have around here. They're found all throughout North America. So anywhere you go in North America, you will be able to see them. One of my favorite things with him, so when they are focused on a thing, you can, like, their body will move and their head will stay in place. So, like, he's not really focused on anything right now, But once he does, like if I move his body, his head stays in place.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah. So it's just really fun to watch them do that and just have that control over their head to keep focus on one thing.
Okay.
He's not doing it great right now, but
I bet he did it a lot when his friend was up there.
yes, for sure.